right, and welcome to the Rabyd Nation. We are live here on the Rabyd Atheist. I'm your host, Ed Rabyd, a former pastor turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to Deconversion Hangout. This is the live stream where pretty strictly moderated. This is a kind of theist-free zone where you can talk about your deconversion experiences and that sort of thing, deconversion issues, and other things of that ilk and like. It's a good place to get some support if you are deconverting. We've had that happen many, many times here, and I always appreciate that. It's one of the streams that's probably closer to my heart and what I like to do than anything else. So thanks for that. As such, though, you have to be a subscriber for at least 20 minutes. That gets rid of my drive-bys and all that other stuff. And if you're a theist and you want to participate in the discussion, it demonstrates that you have a little patience. So there's that. But that's that's more of a protective measure for everybody who wants to come here and have a space where they can talk about their deconversion issues openly. So there's that. There's also a goal in chat. That's just my nice little fun way of asking for money to keep the streams going. If we reach that goal, I, of course, will wear the hat chosen by the poll for the rest of the stream. And that's just a nice little fun way to making money. And it also causes me to have to buy hats. So, so I need a little bit more money for the hats. But there you go. Let's see. Who is here? I got to go all the way back to the top. You guys have been chatting. Good grief. Never fear, Fred was not raptured. He just went off to work, but now he's here for a bit. There you go. Nobody else votes for the hat, you win. Okay, all right. So Fred is here. Rimmer is here. Good to see you, Rimmer. Evan is here. Martin is here. Anybody else? Oh, Wolf Sinclair is here. I have to make a difference. Kyle is here as well. Outstanding. Being randomly preached at as an open atheist. Okay, all right. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of things that have happened this week, Kyle, that have kind of taken me back to my street witnessing days. I've seen a few people back out on the streets talking to people and that sort of thing. And I remember doing that and being very uncomfortable about it. So, but yes, there you go. Can't stain white wine. All right. Well, you'll fit right in most communion services then. It's red. Port. Let's see. Right, Holy Fangs. If you feel like it, Fangs don't really care. This is correct. Let's see. Wasn't it Fred? Fred was talking earlier before the stream started about another failed rapture prediction. I know we talked about this a little bit last week, but it's still applicable. The reason people hang to this stuff is still their bias, their cognitive dissonance. They don't want to accept the fact that maybe, just maybe, they've been fooled. And it's a big issue for a lot of Christians as they come out of faith is how much cognitive dissonance kept you in the faith. And then drive-by theists are very interesting. I want to know, I guess, the psychology of somebody who feels that their necessary ministry is to go to like atheist channels or channels of other religions and just be a nuisance. I don't understand why some people consider that to be a good way of doing things. Like, you're not going to convince anybody. You're not going to do anything like that. So I've always been very interested in why people do that. So there's that. But yes, it's an interesting dilemma with the drive-by theist. So here at Deconversion Hangout, it's more of I'm going to shut that off as much as possible because I want this to be. I'm not a big fan of safe spaces, but this is a space where you can voice your deconversion concerns. If you're going through deconversion or interested in it, you can talk about it without somebody interrupting you with Jesus saves every 5 seconds. So there's that. There's that. All right. And let's see. Oh, thanks, Wolf. There's one. All right. All right. The beer you gave me is a little flat. Just saying. Just saying. Hey, Philbert. Great. Your song always gets me up for this stream every time. I gotta give you credit. Definitely high energy there. If they annoy you enough, you might just give in. Yeah, I don't know. See, Evan, I don't understand. See, because when I was a Christian, I never really did that. Now I'm when I was early in my ministry, the internet was just like all of you know the dial tone from that early days of the internet, where your computer connected to the internet and you went along at, however many bit speeds that were slow enough to get things done. It was, but back then there were like, forums and stuff where you could type and text and, well, not really text, but you could type back and forth and stuff like that. And YouTube really wasn't a thing. I don't think it even existed. Well, it's hard to imagine, but I never felt the need as a Christian to go to atheist sites and just post shit. Okay. I never felt that. And just to be an annoyance and think that that was my ministry. But there are some people that think it is. And I don't understand how annoying me is going to get me to come back to the faith. It's kind of like, whenever I've had a close call, like a brush with death since leaving the faith, I've always had well-meaning friends. Well, have you returned to Jesus yet? I said, why would I return to that abusive prick? If he's trying to kill me to get me back in the fold, that's just an abusive partner. Okay. I don't think I'm going to do that. So, but yeah, I do not understand this. And the psychology of this just really, 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 amazes me. I do not understand the Christian troll. I really don't. So I just don't get it. False sense of superiority. I've spoken on that many times, Fred. I think faith leads you to arrogance. Like you feel you have something that other people don't. Okay, like you have the truth and you have the way to heaven and you have the way to this. It's really an arrogant proposition when you really think about it. When you consider some religious claims, like you're better than everybody else because you have this and everybody else doesn't. Even the statement like that seems humble, like I'm just a beggar like everybody else. I just know how to find bread. Well, you're still claiming a knowledge that other people don't have. And that somehow makes you a better person. So I don't know what that is. And there she is, the lovely, the wonderful, the lap in which our Lord naps, also affectionately known as Mom. I killed Earl. Welcome. Yes, it's lovely to see you too. Yes, the big bad, the pod modems. Exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, back in the day. But yeah, I used to be a part of theological forums and Christian forums, but I never really felt the need to go to atheist ones and just make a nuisance out of myself. It seems to be, I just don't understand the psychology behind it, I guess. Friend who's been sending me random Christian inspo reels told him thrice that if he had something to say, use his own words, and he has yet to send a single message, just more reels. Well, they don't know what to do. I don't think a lot of Christians know what to do when their friend deconverts. They have no idea how to handle that. They can't understand it. Like I get it all the time. Like I was a pastor. How would a pastor leave Jesus? That so many people have this mystical view about church leaders, like they're something special, and it's just not earned. It's not deserved at all. As a former minister, the only thing that's really useful is my Bible and theology knowledge, and it's only really useful when I'm dealing with theists. So I don't know, but yes, I think when people deconvert, their friends that still remain Christians don't know what to do with that, and so they have to like find something canned that seems to answer the question, but they're not willing to have that conversation with you because you've now become a leper in a sense. Like they don't want to have that conversation where they might like catch your disease. So it's easier just to kind of toss stuff at you through the bars, so to speak. So they don't want to do it. So, oh my goodness. Christianity was always rubbing me as a self-righteous, condescending religion, like grandiose quote about Christians and Jesus. Yes, there's a lot of like Jesus is Lord. Translates a lot of different ways. I mean, it's the self-righteousness disease doesn't just affect religion. I think there's political self-righteousness too. As somebody with a poli-sci degree, I would say like if you don't hold this view, you're not a good person kind of ism. That's kind of self-righteous too. But yeah, religion is loaded with self-righteousness because you have to be a little self-righteous to accept the fact that you found the truth, like, and everybody else needs to hear it. So I guess that's this. Yes, you have contagious atheism, Evan. Contagious atheism. They have to throw those memes and those reels through the windows at you instead of they can't get too close. They can't have a conversation with you. God help them. Because if they get too close and actually hear, reason, your reasons why you don't believe anymore, they might have to actually consider them. And it's much easier. I'm sorry, cognitive dissonance is so much a part of religion that it's funny when I hear people like Habermas and others deny that it exists. And I mentioned his name, so now I've got to put him on the screen. But yeah, like him sitting there and saying, I didn't really deal with the cognitive dissonance stuff with the resurrection because it's not really that good of a theory. I'm like, it's actually the best theory. And the reason he doesn't deal with it is he would have to actually say, well, yeah, that kind of sounds like early Christians. Like they invested all this guy into this guy, Jesus, and then he got crucified. And now what do you do? It actually works really, really well. So there's that. Oh my goodness. But yes, it's your atheism is contagious, and so they have to be very careful. I'm sure people pray up before they get on here to troll my channel. So, Lord, protect me from that evil rabid atheist, ideas and his little bunny too. So, oh my gosh. Thought about insulting his intelligence and then blocking him, but then I feel like he might think he won. So I just keep reporting him for harassment. Yeah, you can do that. Like you don't have to be, if you don't want to deal with that all the time, you don't have to. I kind of accept the fact that theists are going to harass me because I run an atheist channel. So I'm good with that, but it's like a lot of people don't want to deal with that fact. They don't want to deal with, that you're kind of being annoying. Okay. And I'm not sure it's a good ministry technique. So yes. Yeah, you gotta watch your cooties. Hey, Wolf. Good to see you. The rabbit dragged in a wolf. That's impressive. There you go. Yeah, see? The Haberwocky, job of the Habermas, yes. On his big book of evidences. Evidences. I don't know, maybe it'll help. Really do believe in just on a sin. I've never read or properly understood the scripture. Did I get that right? Yes. And these here's the thing, Fred, you just listed off, because I know the reels that these our friends here are talking about, because more than one of us gets them. I get them too. They are all along the themes that you just said. Well, you it's really a heart issue. You just want to sin. And I'm like, flipping live alone. Well, who am I sinning with right now? I mean, I run a channel. I go to work. I come home. I read. I play computer games that have good stories. Um, I because I'm into stories. I sit down and write for a while. What sin exactly am I doing? And of course, I'm always taking the Bible out of context. Even though when I had the same interpretations when I was in the church, I was considered, oh wow, that's really deep, Pastor Ed. I now run with the same interpretations as an atheist, and suddenly, oh, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm taking it out of context. And I'm like, I wish you people would make up your mind. So there's that. Hey, yes, the Wolf brothers are in the house. There you go. Hobby the Smug. Earl, you're getting a lot of good humor off of this one. And I'm going to tell you, when I sent it to Apologia, this is the one he commented about the most. Like, he loved this one. So, yes, the Wolf Pack is here. Hey, Native. Good to see you. And for all the emotional regions, too. Forgot that one. Yeah, that's one that I get. There you go, Earl. Yes, but Paul really liked this one. He thought it was hilarious. But there you go. You only sin every Sunday. Okay. That's Michael, I have noticed as an ex-pastor, you know what I don't do on Sundays when I can avoid it? Anything. Like after 30, 40 years of going to church on Sunday, teaching Sunday school when I was a lay person, preaching message every Sunday, doing Bible study classes in the afternoon. It's funny how that now that I am away from all that, how one of the big deconversion things for me is on Sundays, I have to go to work at night because I work nights on a Sunday night. But until then, I don't do shit. I just literally, I don't do anything. And I think it's like, I don't want to lift a finger to do anything. Give me some food, but yes, so you only sin on days with Y in them there. Yeah, I can imagine drawing letters at an angle is a pain in the ass, especially in digital. I think that's a given. But I'm happy you put the 3D art in this one. This one's hilarious. It really symbolizes what I really think of Habermas these days. It's like, dude, you're smug, you're arrogant, and your book. I don't know. I got to look up something here real quick, folks. So I got to check Amazon's price on Habermas's works. Let's take a look. Yeah, they're still 50% off. I'm really wondering if the Apologia and slight Rabyd atheist effect is having an effect on it. So yes, he's blowing smoke up everybody's ass, in case you were wondering what that was all about. It does make him look like the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland too. So there's that LSD effect as well that I kind of enjoy. So he is also known as the slow kid. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's like it really is a thing for me, Evan. It's like on Sundays, it's like I have a real aversion to doing anything, like anything productive, constructive, anything. And it's kind of been like, I used to be a pastor and I'm not doing this. So, so yes, but yeah, so there you go. But yeah, but yes, this is, I don't have a high opinion of him anymore. I'm sorry, I just don't. As a scholar myself, to an extent, I find his research methods a little bit off, and I'm going to do a video on the minimal facts and why they don't really prove shit. So, yeah, can't, it's his incredulity, I think, that bothers me the most. Like, he's come to this conclusion and he doesn't understand how anybody can't see it another way. So I do have a sober opinion of him. The thing about this whole thing is I haven't had any alcohol during the entire process. So it's kind of fun. Like, it is kind of fun. It's like but he is a good example of cognitive dissonance himself. He really is. Like, he's invested so much time and money and energy into this that he can't get out. So he just can't get out. Minimal facts. So flat. Yeah, it does. But yeah, I've said this before. I'm like, how do any of these minimal facts actually prove the resurrection itself? Okay, because I can come up with alternative explanations for every single one of the minimal facts, and I'm probably going to do that in a video. But the bigger overarching thing with Habermas and his minimal facts is this: almost all of the facts that he claims are facts are for the Bible tells me so, like, because the Bible is the chief source for all those facts. Well, you're pulling those from the Gospels, who have anonymous writers, who have anonymous sources. Yeah, it's hearsay. So it's not facts at that point. It's hearsay. So yes, yeah, Jesus lived, he died, fine. It's the rest of it. Like, Paul had a deep conversion experience, having claimed to see the Jesus on the road. I can explain that a lot of reasons, including a couple of things I've mentioned, like LSD, grief, that kind of thing. So yeah, yes, for the Bible tells me so. I recognize the jingle because I used to sing that song in children's church when I was a kid. I think a lot of us did with, that, and I'm not going to do it justice here right now. So, but it's like, as soon as I heard that the first time when I listened to Paul, I like laughed out loud. I'm like, yep. Yep, I got it. So, because I grew up in that environment too. Strobel, he doesn't seem to even convincing. Strobel is an interesting character. The fact that he's talking about ghosts and demons and everything else, this is why the believer really has to, like, look at science in a different way. It's funny because, yeah, who is it that he's with? Carson, yeah. Carson, like, well, science has done a lot of great things for us, but, I can't answer certain questions. And it's like, yeah, I can. You just don't want to listen to the answers. So yes, Strobel, yeah, yeah, Tucker. Yeah, good old Tucker. Tucker has gone woo. I just want to let you all know that. After I watched Apologia's video this week, I was like, okay, so Tucker's gone woo. So, and he's trying to justify going woo. All right, fair enough. I don't know. I'm listening to that and I'm like, I'm glad that Paul brought in the audience, the expert he did, because that person is not an atheist and they can speak how the fact. So it's really interesting that Tucker has kind of gone woo, and then he brings in Strobel, who is a woo peddler, and it's like he's, I mean, I'm, maybe got fired from Fox News for reasons. So, yes, 85% of song. Yes, your brain really is 85% song lyrics. I do that too, Earl. Like, if you could put something to a song, I will remember it forever. So it's just the way it is. Give the minimal facts about his theory. My minimal facts about the minimal facts is that none of them are really genuine facts that are proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So, and that's one of the things so there's that. Jesus was seen alive afterwards. Dead men don't come back. See Apologia for at least one good alternative. Yes. We've said that many times. Like, the whole point of doing alternatives is not to say this is what happened. it's pointing out to the believer that there is another way to look at it, and that you can't make the statement there's only, like Habermas says, there's only one conclusion that can be drawn, and that Jesus rose from the dead. No, not really. So there you go. Yes, Strobel became a Christian. He's a journalist. He interviewed a bunch of Christian apologists, and he found that nobody disagreed with the apologists, but he never really went out to find out people that did disagree with the apologists. So yes. Yes, Schoolhouse Rock probably did work. Yes, Tucker Woosen. Yes. Yeah, he is pretty good on that. He is good on freedom of speech, but he's gotten wooish. Songs I don't like. I get it. Like I'm like going through my head all the songs I learned as a child in children's church. Hey Eric, welcome to the Rabyd Nation. You have to be a subscriber to participate in this stream, so welcome to being a tourist in the Rabyd Nation. No. Poke around, look around. But yes. And then, so I don't know. I was watching Paulogia's video with, Tucker and Strobel, and my problem with Strobel is his standard of evidence is really, really low. And it makes me wonder what kind of journalism he actually did. I've never really looked into his journalistic integrity. Is there a reason why he left journalism to do what he's doing now? So I'm just curious. Yes, all the things that she said. Yes. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock, man. If they had done Schoolhouse Rock on a lot of other subjects, they'd be stuck in my head too. I don't know, because see, the thing with Strobel, if he was an investigative journalist, his standards must have been pretty low to accept apologists, because as a Christian, I had a hard time with accepting apologists, because I felt their arguments were bullshit half the time myself when I still believed. So, it's like, guys, you're not helping the cause. On MDD, whether the left is more violent than the right, the stats are clear, but I'm going to hit the speech as violence. The right is doing now. There you go. There you go, Rimmer. I'm a Dane. I have Danish ancestry as well, so it's my Viking part of my life that I don't really know that. My mother's father was Swedish. Okay, there you go. Old country roots. See, I've got old country roots all around the North Sea. Hey, Alex. I don't think it's debatable. It's both sides do violence. It's just there's a pretty clear preponderance of who does more, who has to reach into the bag of, I disagree with you, so I'm going to punch you in the nose kind of thing. That said, we can debate a lot of that too. It's like, it's never good when it happens, and I don't endorse it. I'm very much a very peaceful person here, and people ask me if I endorse anything. I'm like, no. So, is I the Great Dane? But yes. So I don't know. But getting back to Strobel's problem for me is when I'm listening to him talk on that video what Paulogia produced recently, it's like, dude, you haven't even proved there's a devil. You haven't proven that there's any demons. You haven't, it's like you're doing all the ghost spooky stuff. He's like taking the viewpoint on ghosts. I'm like, you literally have a verse of the Bible that has a ghost in it. If you're going to be a Bible believer, you have to believe in ghosts. Okay. it really shows, like every time I hear these guys talk, it really shows how, um, how can I put it? It really shows how much people cherry pick what they believe out of the Bible. Like every believer does it. Like if you point out verses that are absolutely heinous, oh well, that's not my Jesus, or that's my not my God. God doesn't do that anymore, or whatever. And it gets really hard. Like I had that argument in Texas once with a black Christian. I'm like, you have a short memory, and he went into me like, oh, that's not what the Bible. I said, dude, it says it right there in black and white what you're supposed to be able to do to your slaves. And I'm sorry, so yeah. Said it before. Okay, there you go. Oh boy. Oh, thanks, Martin. Appreciate it. That's two. No comment either. But yes, thank you very much. It's about changing it a bit. But James was being he doesn't like me very much. He's polite on the surface. He just takes everything I say as an attack for a reason, for some reason. I don't know, Earl. I've never I've never taken everything you attack as said as an attack. Grow up and watch. He's too young for the Muppets. Okay, that might be it. Lee Strobel. I don't know, Rimmer. See, the problem I have with his journalist background is it's like journalists have to sell their stories, and that's a good and a bad thing. Like they have to have some sort of credibility, but at the same time, it's also one of those professions that I have to ask, what are you doing it for? Kind of thing. You know, but he interviewed all these apologists and couldn't find anything wrong with what they said or anybody who disagreed with him. And it's like, you didn't look very hard. It's kind of like Habermas as we have him up here on the screen. It's like he has all these people that talk about, oh, and some of them are skeptics and they still believe in the resurrection. I'm like, you haven't, there's a few notable exceptions. Like there's like 100 PhD historians that exist as a list somewhere that don't even believe that Jesus actually existed. Okay. And you didn't include any of them, probably. Um, so there's tons of critical skeptics of the resurrection that Habermas just, because of the way he did it, he would come across something that supported his position, then he'd write it down. It's like when you also have to go out there as a scholar and find people that disagree with your position and write that down too and deal with it. And he doesn't really deal with it. So it's like it's Strobel and him kind of are born of that same cloth. Like I'm going to report what I feel is true or anybody who agrees with me, but anybody who disagrees with me, and I don't know, I may deal with that video that Paula Gia did too, because I have different criticisms because I'm like, they basically poison the well and dismiss atheists right away. And it's like, I ain't going to take that. Okay. So I'm not going to take it, but yeah, even if God was proven true, you don't agree with his moral standards. Yeah. That's kind of one of my disproofs of the idea of God in the first place. Human morality is human. And so it's all about how humans interact with humans. So of course, we have a lot of different tools to use, from reason to economics to, reciprocity. There's all kinds of things. I was like, I heard it again, in that Strobel video with Paul. It's like, how is murder wrong if you don't have a soul? And I'm like, how is murder right if you don't? Like, if this is all I am and there is no afterlife, that makes murder even more heinous because you've taken everything a person is. If you believe in a soul, then how is murder wrong? You're just standing them off to the afterlife. The logic was really wonky there for those guys, but yes. You're a scary woman. Yes, I can confirm this. Earl's a scary girl. Don't mess with her. It's not a good idea. thing that drives me nuts. Like the bad issues there. He shouldn't be following. Yes, it's the issue I have with their observation on morality. If you don't have a soul, how is murder wrong? I'm like, how is it? How is it not? How is it wrong if you do have one? Because you're just going on to another life. You just sped them on their way. If I'm right, then murder is very, very wrong because you've taken away the one and only life a person has, and you can't give it back. So it's like, yeah, it's really weird. So couldn't find it. That's because the only people he interviewed were Christians, and his main two goals for this book was Bill Craig. And yeah, and Philbert, we see this all the time. Like, well, I interviewed everybody. I like, did you? You know, and the problem with Strobel is he's very selective on who he gets his information from. You know, it's like I said, there's several like PhD level historians that don't believe that Jesus even existed, that he's just like Hercules and Pericles and all the rest of the us's and is's, okay, and eases. So it's and it's a valid thing. Like I don't know necessarily if that's going to be the case, but yeah. So there you go. But yes, but we here, the unholy trinity will continue to oppose Strobel and all others like his ilk. So another one of my favorite pictures from Earl. So Christians like to drive because engaging triggers like anger and intellectual dishonesty. This triggers shame. Yes, I think Eric, you're hitting on something that I've been talking about for like the last few deconversion hangouts, which is cognitive dissonance. Like whenever you're presented information that proves your viewpoint wrong, you have a choice. Okay. You can either ignore it and keep going on believing what you believe, which is the dissonance, or you can engage the information. And the problem with a lot of these apologists is they've been presented the other information many times where they've had to engage it, but they show their dissonance by not engaging it very honestly. Like they don't deal with the stuff honestly, you know, in the sense that, oh, I've been presented this information. What do I do with it? And Christians don't do that. I was a Christian for a long time, and I did engage the information, which is why I'm now an atheist, by the way. I became an atheist not because I wanted to sin or I was misinterpreting the Bible or any of that crap that they like to say. I don't hate God. I don't hate God, and I hate God maybe in the same way that I hate, you know, some people have mentioned Voldemort or, you know, Lord Sauron or something like that. A character in literature I find despicable or evil, but that's kind of the way I look at God Yahweh now. So, but yeah, it's like it does trigger their shame because they're like, I really didn't engage that. So I really didn't deal with that. So there you go. You know, it's like, and the problem for those of us that do engage it is we end up usually deconverting. So, and so it's like that. And you like it that way. There you go. You're prickly like a cactus. Okay, there you go. That's fair. A little scare. There's so many idiots in this world that would need a good scare. Yes, probably. Praise Fangs, Dad, Mom. Yes. Thank you. And Earl, thank you. Yes. But yes. They really need to want, but they can't. Yes. You mean you didn't figure that pretending to ignore somebody that actually secretly do believe exists at all might get away with anything? Yes. Yes. See you later, Martin. You have a good one, man. Yeah, I know everybody who stops in, I'm always grateful for, but the watcher count bumps up and down. So, but yes, my thing has always been with cognitive dissonance. Like that's why when I was reviewing Paul's video on Habermas, like the fact that he says cognitive dissonance isn't a really good theory. The truth of the matter is the reason he didn't deal with it is he knows it's a damn good theory. That just like all other cults that exist today that have cognitive dissonance about claims that don't come true, Christianity can absolutely fall into that, and he knows it. And that's where I'm like, you're being dishonest. So I find they are a bit all over the place with what they believe. Yes, they are. The funny thing about apologists, Alex, they come in all different stripes as far as their Christian beliefs, and so their apologetics has to change sometimes in order to fit the mold of whatever denomination or theological persuasion they have. It's like, some of them are more reformed and some of them are Catholic and some of them are, the apologists are all over the place. And of course, you get the Muslim part, and then that's a whole different brand of apologists. so, so there you go. And the hardest part for me is lying and being fooled mixed so readily, and that makes the psychology harder to pick apart. Yes. I don't know. I got to a point where I think in my Christian walk, I was not fooled so much as I was avoiding dealing with the issue. There comes a point where lying to yourself becomes easier part. It's not so much that you're fooled, that you're just kind of dismissing the stuff that's against your faith. I remember when I did a study on comparative religions, and of course, I critiqued all the other religions except my own. But then it got really hard to lie or be fooled by the fact that if I applied the same criticisms to my own faith, then you have a problem. Okay, that you can't just do that. So you're just doing a drive-by tonight, Anne-Marie. All right. Well, I'll see you Saturday. I'm going to go back to doing preachers. I'm trying to find a preacher talking about Halloween, seeing it's October. So that's always good for some fun. Halloween is always an issue. It's really weird because Christians just go batshit crazy at this time of year about how evil the time of year is. I'm like, yeah. Okay. So, yes, and Earl says hi bye. So, hey, Triple E. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we got our yes. I don't have Veggie Killer up, so. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's another deconversion issue of holidays and stuff. So I have now embraced Halloween so much that I'm taking a week off for it. The last week of this month is my vacation. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything, but I'm taking it off in honor of Halloween and how it scares Christians so much. It's hilarious. It's like, it's, but yes, I'm definitely doing that. But yeah, I'm trying to find a preacher that's talking about Halloween. I think I found a video about it that might be fun, but there's going to be sermons. There's going to be sermons that are all over the place about Halloween. So there you go. And I got to find one, and I'm going to do that this Saturday. So. But the only person who did that is Rob. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm actually looking forward to that too, Earl. This is where our Halloween stream that we're going to do. It's going to be a special. We're going to do a Halloween special on Halloween night. And Earl wants to talk about the Christian to Wood atheist pipeline. And I think that's actually, you bring up a point. I don't know how common that is. I guess I would have to find out. I don't know too many pagans that like leave stuff like that. So there you go. Thanks, Joshua. Good to see you too. Here's to the upcoming Hallows Eve. Yes, I'm going to have Earl talk about her experiences from from Christian to Woo to atheism, and I'm going to talk about how I think Pentecostalism is kind of woo and kind of spooky too. So, because I'm a former Pentecostal, so been raised in the fear of demonic spirits is one of the funniest things about deconstruction. Yes, it is. See, I have full on embraced Halloween. I'm not sure what character I will show up as. for this Halloween special of mine, but it's not going to be my normal self. I'm going to be something else. So, so there's that. You need to rename your pet. I'm just saying. Call it Fangs. I mean, to those of you that are new, I'm sure there's more than Eric. Fangs is my made-up deity. Me and Earl created Fangs. It's her artwork and my theology and lore. So, and her lore too. She's definitely poked in that department too. But I use Fangs to illustrate the absurdity of religion all the time. Like, especially presuppositional apologetics. I'm like, Fangs did this, prove it didn't happen. And and it just proves to me that you can use presupp apologetics to prove any religious belief, and so it makes it pretty useless. But I also have been using him to illustrate religious absurdities. So, and that's what our book, me and Earl's book, is about: is exposing religious absurdities by being absurd. So, the lore of Fangs is pretty Pentecostal. I'll get to that in a minute. But yes, the whole Ann just did a drive-by in and out, but Ann's hubby is that way. He's like afraid of Halloween because he's still a believer. So there's that. I did a couple sermons on Halloween. It's funny because last year I did like all the Halloween style stories in a video series, like, you know, the zombie apocalypse, the witch of Endor, all that stuff. And the funny thing is, those same texts, I think I did as a sermon series during October one year and took them on. So, yes. Yeah, it's really, if you want to look at why, I was thinking about this because Apologia's video brought this to light. Like, what Christians think is demon inspired is really very cultural, like what they're culturally against. And so that's changed over the years. Like when I was a kid, yeah, the devil was in television, the devil was in magazines, the devil was in alternative sources of information, things like that. But whenever you demonize something, there's usually a cultural reason for it. Like back in the day, it was like, oh, all these people are, you know, swingers and all this stuff, and the devil is just there. And the devil is always where Christians have a cultural problem. And once you understand that, it's that way. But it's also, there is a fun is sin category. Like, and it really is, like, I think one of my preachers in the past when I was a kid said it the best. I disagree with him now, but he's like, you know, you've got to focus more and more God, and anything that takes away from your focus on God, like doing things that are fun and all this other stuff where you're not spending 2 hours a day reading your Bible and 2 hours a day praying and all that other crap, then that's just taking away from your devotion to God. And so there's that aspect of this too with Halloween, because like, God help us if we have holidays that are actually fun, you know? So, but yes, I did do a sermon on Halloween. I took the stance to leave it to everybody's conscience of what they were doing. To me, it was more of a matter of conscience and why you were doing it. So there's that. Oh boy, that's a word. I'm trying to see. Eric, you have to forgive me sometimes because certain words just, not sure. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. But yes, I don't know. It wasn't, I went full magic and witchcraft. Okay, there you go. But I know pagans do that too. Halloween this year, hopefully nearly fully healed at that point. Yes, all bunnies are avatars of Fangs, even some of the Playboy ones. Yes. Yes, be yourself. Be yourself is a great shibboleth for it. Yeah, Fangs is very wholesome. We have what we call Fang Dammits, which we're going to have to rewrite for the book because Earl openly admits she did those on the fly. But revising the 10 Commandments won't be that hard because, you know, we have justification. The Bible revises the 10 Commandments several times. So, but the last Fang Dammit is you can follow these or don't. Okay, so we think some of them are pretty good. kind of thing. So yes, be yourself, relax, enjoy life. Yeah, like Fangs is he's very pro all that. So, um, so let me tell you, I was in first grade and literally posed an argument to my parents that it's okay to do Halloween if we didn't dress scary. It somehow worked. There you go. Always struggled to believe in demons and spirits. That's a good struggle to have. Top-notch kid luring. Nom, nom, nom. That's another one. The Devils went down to Georgia. That's actually a pretty good song. Uh-oh. Fangs is in the house. He's been summoned. Fangs is here. Oh my goodness. To the in-group. Yes. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Be yourself. You can also use Fangs' name as the F word because he is the living embodiment of that, being a rabbit. So, like, fangs you and all this other stuff. It turns it into something that you can't get in trouble for. So, they're still funny. Yeah, he is risen. Yes. Yes, you rang, sir. Nibblery is afoot. Yeah, we do a lot of, but if it's wholesome and, like promoting of good humanity, Fangs is down. He's down. We have a lot of them, like nibbling on your heart and let Fangs nibble on your heart. What else? There's a whole bunch of stuff that the chat has just overwhelmed me and Earl with. So, but yes, Fangs is nibbly as a foot. Be yourself. Nibblery is amazing. Yes, nibblery. We believe in good, safe, consensual nibblery, by the way. So make sure if you're nibbling, engage in consensual, good nibbling, be safe, that sort of thing. So, but paganism, it's all the religions and beliefs that probably used to be before Christianity mucked with Europe. And now a lot of them are making a comeback. Like there's Odinism. There's definitely some like Norse paganism that's making a comeback. Celtic paganism is making a comeback. Even Greeks. There's some Greeks that are now going back to their Greek gods and things like that. So paganism is a pretty broad term where you're bringing in the old gods and magic and a few other things together. So that's a very, very broad thing. So yes, we have that. There's also like one of my personal favorite commandments, which is don't get caught. so yes, one of Fangs. Yes. Yes, he's agnostic to his own existence. Fangs doesn't believe in it himself sometimes in a certain way. Yes. Evan has inspired a lot of Fangsism. The nibbled on made Fangs nibble on your heart is a great one. But Fangs is something that I have used now for quite some time. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with Fangs. And like he's like we titled this one the Unholy Trinity, Star Wars edition. So so me and my night elf self and Earl as their C-3PO Princess Leia self, and Fangs as Chewbacca. So yeah, you should believe in yourself even if you don't know whether you exist. Exactly. You're getting it, Eric. You're catching on. Well done, sir. You're catching on. But as somebody with I have a master's degree in theology, so I now realize what theology is. It's a bunch of excuses as to why God doesn't make sense and never will, because there's just too many illogical inconsistencies. So you're catching on very, very quickly, okay, as to what this is about. And I have had people people come here that are theists, and they absolutely get infuriated with me about this because I illustrate very quickly with Fangs how absurd their beliefs are. Like presuppositionalists do not like Fangs anymore because I'll tell them, like, the reason like Noah's flood actually happened is Yahweh was trying to drown Fangs and his entire family of rabbits and had dug a bunch of holes into everything, and so he was going to flood the holes, and it went too far, kind of thing. And they'll say, "Well, that didn't happen." I said, "Well, prove it didn't happen." I'm going to use your apologetics right back at you. You say, "Prove me wrong." Okay, fine, we'll prove me wrong. And it just demonstrates how the burden of proof has to be on the person that's making the claim. You can't just make a claim and everybody else has to prove it wrong. And it's like, and I can make claims about Fangs. Fangs is is the real father of Jesus Christ. Like, and I made up a story for that, so, and it's going to be in the book. So yes, Fangs loves it when you. We should show Eric more of my travels. Probably. Let's see. Here, let's see. I got to load up an image here. But we've also done a few. My favorite one. I want to do my favorite one with Fangs and the Mormonians. There we go. But this is one of my favorites. We did a spoof of the Mormons, and we ended up the Mormonians were born. So like you have that. So, but yes, but this is some of the travels of Fangs. When Fangs found himself in the Mormon garden, he probably accidentally ate one of the baby onions, and that's what's causing the rest of them to cry. And and of course, we had to have Daddy Mormonian and his 3 wife Mormonians. So, so yeah, maybe. We got some imagination. I have an excellent, highly twisted imagination. Yes, true. But yes. And let's see. And that, of course, led to some of the emojis like this one. This is one of my custom emojis here at the Rabyd Atheist. So yes, Fangs is saying oops. So, and let's see. Let's see if I can find. There's several others that the lovely Lord and the lap in which our Lord naps is our prophetic artist, and she's done a bunch of stuff where she's seen visions of Fangs doing things to various religions. So let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I think I passed it. There's also, of course, the Fangs Hellhound Blues Brothers moment. So there's that. Not the goal of Fangs with vegetables is to purify them. He sinks his fangs into them and removes religious corruption. So, and there is one holy vegetable, and that's the carrot. It doesn't require the removing of corruption because it can never be corrupted. But you can make it even more holy if you circumcise the carrot and remove the tip. So, yes, nip the tip. So, there you go. But yes. So, but yes, we it's not so much vegetable sacrifices as it's about taking them off the path of bad religions and things like that. So, here I can only do so many images, but I love this one because Fangs was on a mission from himself. So that. Oh my goodness, there's just so many, Earl. create. Oh, here's Catholic. Then we, in honor of the new Pope, we did this one where Fangs is attempting to purify granary, and the tomato Pope stands up to him. So it's still there's. I've got some Catholics in my audience that thought this was hilarious. So there's that. But yes, yes, there's quite a catalog now, Evan. So there's that. Yes, the Weedifiction. And the True Communion, which is, bread and marinara sauce. So that's the True Communion of Fangs. He's the Roman Catholic Pope. We did this one in honor when the new Pope was installed. We broke away from what we were going to do, and we did the Pope instead. So we nailed the Roman Catholic Church with this one. So it's terrifying. Poor Philbert. Oh, children of the corn. Okay. Yeah, we're doing corn for the next one, is the next vegetable. Oh gosh. So yeah, we're doing that. We're doing the corny ones, which are the Seventh-day Adventists, I believe. They're kind of corny. Oh my goodness. And where is the latest? From the Earl. I know it's here somewhere. She's done some funny ones, but the one religion, where is it? There's a couple that are private jokes. Some that were done in honor of birthdays. It's Queen Earl. Oh, yes. This one. In honor of all of our lovely JW friends. Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. Right here. The Watchtower. And the radishes. The radishes became the turnips, actually, because there's no blood in a turnip. So turnips are kind of safe from JWs. Yes, the corn crosses. Yes. I know what you're saying. Savory Sacrament. You love that one? Fangs loves that one. Yes, Olive Garden is a place of sacrament, confirmed with the Pope. Yes. Yes, all along the Watchtower. But yes, we did the JWs too. We're working on the Seventh-day Adventists. They're going to be corn because they're kind of corny. So, but yes, but Earl has seen many visions of Fangs these days. So like but yes, this has been one of the funnest ways. It's kind of like The Skeptic with Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe, but as a former theologian, I've been able to absolutely push this. Let's see. I'm going to put this one up here because this is a precursor of the Jonah and the Whale story. So, because we've done stories too, and Earl put a lot of our fans in here, from Cranky Elder God to excuse me. So yes, but yes, yeah, it's become a lot of fun here, Eric, and you're more than welcome to participate in the fun. So yeah, he's still a trickster god, because the problem with Fangs, and Fangs is here, and Fangs may openly admit this, is they're not all powerful. And so they have to make a very concerted effort to be sneaky about things, and Fangs has to use their powers very specifically. So, and Yahweh's kind of a douche. So, so playing tricks on Yahweh is kind of the way it works. So, Oh, you're welcome. So, yes, Darth Fangs goes scuba diving. So, but yes, Fangs is innocent until proven otherwise, and it's often proven otherwise. So, but yes, the idea of Fangs being a trickster god, the god of good consensual sex, the god of magicians, okay, the god of bunnies that sneak into gardens to eat vegetables. Yes, Fangs fills a lot of roles, but doesn't fill everything. So that's the way it works. So, and it's been a fun ride. And then of course when Paulogia kind of put me in his video, Earl came back to Star Wars and did some of this stuff and some of this stuff, and it's just been a great ride, and we're gonna keep going. Yeah, if you're interested in all the artwork, um, Earl has compiled most of it in her portfolio. So if you want to go there, you can browse Fang's art to your content. But yes, so Fangs is reminding us that Earl. So, but yeah, Earl has really grown as an artist too. Like I'm very excited to see what she does next. Let's see. I want to show some of her latest work. I think the last thing that I premiered on this channel that was purely Earl's was this, isn't it? This, oh, I got to get rid of something. Hold on. Always make me get rid of stuff so I can put more stuff. But yes, but it was for Azho's birthday, I believe. Yes. So we got Fangs not enjoying life, being pulled as a rabbit out of the hat. Yes. A lot of the adventures have been chronicled already. So, okay. But yes, this is one of the latest ones I thought was hilarious. So, yes, I love it. You want a Fangs advent calendar? Oh, the possibilities. Oh my gosh, Earl, you got to write that down. You got to write that down. A Fangs advent calendar. You got a couple months. Oh, that's a debatable point. I don't know. Have we given Fangs a birthday yet, Earl? I don't know. Fangs, what is your birthday? I'll let you pick. I mean, I'm down for any day of the week. I'll have to wish an Arden absence taking notes seriously. Do we have a birthday for you, Fangs? Have you ever revealed your birthday to either me or Earl? Like, have you ever done that, Fangs? I don't remember. I have a bad memory, so sometimes your revelations get lost. So if I'm not wearing the Holy Bunny hat too, I can't really get it. January 30th? Okay, fair enough. That works. So Fanga's birthday is January 30th. There we go. There you go. Okay, now I got to look it up. Okay. January 30th is what? Holidays. Hey, there's actually a few days. So so there you go. No rapture day. No, I'll just head out to work normally, then catch you later. Yes, may many nibbles be upon you, Fred. But yes, there's we can add that. It's not a very crowded day. at all for holidays, depending on where you are in the world. So there we go. January 30th works. So, but we also like, there are several holidays that are most holy to the Church of Fangs, and the Easter holiday is holy because of all the bunnies, and all bunny references are foreshadowings of fangs. All these things are true. Prove us wrong. But yes, it's kind of been a lot of fun around here. But I still find this one to be one of my favorites of all time, not just because it's the first one, but because of how so well it represents everything. Actually, we do have a cranky elder god that shows up from time to time. He's kind of cranky though. He's here every once in a while. So yes, you are a rare breed. But yes, we do have Cranky shows up every once in a while in chat. Him and Fangs have a very interesting relationship. So, like, he was there when Fangs was conceived. So, his main words is, what happens in the God's party barn stays in the God's party barn. So, so there's that. So, there'll be many. All these things are true. They are all true. Prove us wrong. Prove they didn't happen. I've told you before, people. The Church of Fangs, the very official form of apologetics by the Church of Fangs is presuppositionalism. That you have to prove that all these things that we claim Fangs didn't happen. So, yes, he's quite cranky. Hilarious, but quite grumpus. Blossom, throwing down the gauntlet, Fangs. There you go. Oh my goodness. But yes, the cranky elder god. I haven't seen Cranky in a couple broadcasts, but every once in a while he shows up. And so, yes, Fangs is a little bit alarmed. There you go. It doesn't matter, because the thing about Fangs being a deity of fertility as well, he just reproduces himself. It's not a big deal. Yeah, probably. Probably Joshua Grumpus in lieu of Krampus. Yes. So there you go. Yes. Poor Fangs. Fangs has spent a lot of their life running away. I detailed Fangs' powers once upon a time. Multiplication powers, high speed. It's gonna. All right. Fangs is angry now. Yes, I absolutely understand your anger, Fangs. There you go. And it shouldn't be Blossom. It shouldn't be fuck you. You should just say Fangs you, and then you can get away with it. Fangs can literally be a replacement for all the F word sayings. So, but this is still, yes, running all your life. Keep running. Bunnies run. Literally just reproductive, in the sense that Fangs can make duplicates of himself. Also, Fangs' gender and sexual persuasion are very fluid. So, in fact, I refer to him as he, but if you're a girl, you can refer to Fangs as she. So, take all aspects of that. So but yes, he does that. The one cheap power that Fangs has, of course, is he can disappear without leaving any evidence of his existence. So, just like all the other gods. So, but yes, high speed to the point of time travel. We've done that a couple times. Yes, omnigendered, pretty much. Yes, and so there's that. So, but if do mathematics in public. It's indecent. Okay, don't do mathematics in public, people. It's indecent. Very rare indecency thing from Fangs. Yes, but I've made the statement before. If you want to get closer to Fangs, you need to envision Fangs as whatever your gender or sexual persuasion is that allows her to nibble on your heart even better. So you can be whatever you want. Fangs is, has transformative powers. Fangs has appeared as a human being a couple of times in the history, and has either enjoyed it immensely or regretted it. so there's that. Yeah, me and Earl are putting together a book of the misadventures of Fangs, and she's illustrating it and helping me write it, and I'm writing the main parts. And we've set a deadline for next July 31st, I believe, to have that at least finished and ready to submit to a publisher. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, every chapter in the book is basically me taking on a theological idea about God and and showing it to be nonsense with Fangs. So it'll be fun. There's that. All right. See, yeah. See you later, Philbert. It's kind of. Yeah, Fangs doesn't have thumbs, so Fangs has to transform into something in between a human and a bunny to have thumbs. So we figured out a way to get past the fact that Fangs doesn't have thumbs, but so Fangs identifies as all. Yes, pretty much. See you later, Philbert. You'll hear some of Philbert's word. I'd probably, maybe. he's a were-rabbit. That's probably a good way to put it, Wolf. I think he's a were-rabbit. Yeah, not bovine. Okay, there we go. See, you can get information from Fangs directly right now. It's amazing how this works. So, I never know how to talk about religion with friends beyond trust me. I've watched a lot of videos and I haven't taken notes to count on what they say. I just know that they're wrong. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Blossom. Yes, it's when our former Christian people just send us videos because they don't want to be corrupted by our atheism. So, I know. We can't figure that out, Eric. It's like really simple to figure all this stuff out. It just takes a lot of imagination, really, and you can figure all this stuff out. But yes, we've figured out a lot of things. But yes, Fangs has become very near and dear to a lot of our hearts. Talking points can be difficult to translate into conversations. That's probably valid, Josh. Especially when you're dealing with theists, it's kind of hard. I get it. When I'm talking to people online here, it's like sometimes it gets like, dude, I don't know what to say to you. Like it goes back to oh, for Fang's sake. So there you go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know if our book's going to be considered a holy book. We'll have to have a council about it and decide once it's finished whether it's the true holy book of Fangs. So, we got to wait. Yeah, I don't want to wait a couple 300, 400 years like the church did. So we want to do that something different, but yes. So if I share Fangs' birthday, does that mean Oh my goodness. Does it have a lot of holes? Probably. Well, I don't know. Probably yes. Yes. Um, the real trick is trying to keep this in such a way that I don't get the censors, saying we got to market this as an erotic book, not just an adult oriented religious text. So, I mean, not that the Bible tries very hard to hide its erotic scenes. There's definitely some, but it's there. Yes. So there you go. But yes, it's a it's a good time. It Me and Earl are very different people, so she rubs off on me and I rub off on her, I think, a little bit. So it's like it's when we're writing, it's kind of interesting. It's Are there thick bunny girls? Probably, maybe. Son of Bun is now going to make it in there. Okay, you got to write that down, Earl, because I'll forget. See, the thing about Earl, I do the main writing and I hand it off to her, and then she adds some. I think the analogy we use is I'm the one driving and navigating for the most part, but she's like points out the tourist stops that we should stop at. And she also points out tourist traps that we should avoid. So invaluable to me. And so it's been great. So we're going to leave a lot of that to your imagination. Like you're going to have to think about some of that stuff yourself. So I don't know, because once I introduced Fangs as the creator of all bunnies, his main task will be keep the bunnies alive. So in the face of Yahweh's wrath. So we'll see that. Yeah, I have a degree in biblical studies and another one in theological studies. So I've also like read a lot of mythology. So, and then we brought in like other things to inspire us. But I think me and Earl are I'm getting to the point where I'm like, those are all very inspiring, but we need to set down the true lore. So we need to set down the true lore of Fangs and not all the foreshadowings. So Fangs is the main person talking throughout the entire story. And sometimes they just want to set the record straight about what really happened between Yahweh and humanity and what his involvement was. So I don't know. No, they're not the same person. Look at this? Have you ever seen Earl and Fangs can be in the same room? Earl's been here and Fangs has been here. They're not the same person. Not the same person. Fang's lap, as Fangs points out, she is the lap in which I nap. Fangs takes naps on Earl's lap. So, and probably picking up a lot of viewpoints from Earl. So, did he create bunnies though? I don't know. And both the saint and son of bun. Oh, this isn't going to quit, is it? There's another one. It's like free the gay whales too. Yes, we're not the same person. See, you got Fangs. Three things later, there's Earl. Two different people. I don't know what you're talking about, Blossom. Embrace the cult. You need to cross. Yes, what the Fangs? Yes. A dualistic or Trinitarian theology. Yes, we are very different. See, I we have the unholy Trinity, but I'm not really sure how much of a Trinity it is. I'm just saying, like we have. I'm not going to be like Christians with their doctrine of the Trinity trying to make polytheism into monotheism. That's not true. We're three very distinct people, but we work together. So Fangs, myself, and Earl. So, I mean, I have an older version of the unholy Trinity. that is more dignified, I guess is the word. Here, let me see if I can find it. Think, yeah, this one. This is one of the more older versions of the Unholy Trinity. So, nomming is always good. That lives in three holes. Okay. Button crap. No. Yeah, it's an actual Trinity. Like, it's like there's actually three people. Much nomitude. There we go. But yes, I think when the book's finished, I got three appendixes like planned for it too, which is the Fang Dammits in more detail and suggested reading lists like Watership Down and Bunakula and a few others. And then another one on Fangology, religious practices. So, and that's probably going to be very lengthy by the time I get to it. But, I'm like, as the head of the church, I'm very open to heresies and alternative denominations. It just kind of proves my point. Yes, a trinity with three members is actually an actual trinity. Yes, Blossom is very spicy today. So I I I was in. Me and Earl got some inspiration from Watership Down as far as the mythology, the theology around fangs, and fangs confirms some of this. So, but we're also very, the mythology, the rabbit mythology is pretty cool in that book, and then the rest of the book is kind of very enlightening given at the time it was written. So I haven't read it in a while. The heretical hermit sect. Yes. Yes. We have many heresies here. We have many, and I encourage that. The heresies must go forward, and you must be heretical. So, oh, yes. Yeah, the mythology is there, definitely there. So some of Fang's origin story is kind of sort of there. We want to set the record straight in some cases, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, but yes, but yeah, we've had a lot of fun with this. So it's been a while since the original version of this portrait came out. I'm trying to remember, Earl, when did we really first start all this? Was it January 30th? That might be true. So that might be the true birthday of Fangs is January 30th. Yeah, it's a really old one. This is an old picture, so it's been around for a while. This is one that Earl did originally AI and then altered the crap out of to make it more what we wanted. So, but yes, but I've been a night elf ever since. That's the first edition of Fangs you have on record. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, but yeah, we started that one, and now we're thanks to Paula Gia and company and a few others, we're up to this. I think so. I think we're up to 9 months. We're going strong here with Fangsology. That's that. You thought it was a vampire? Oh no! Earl made the observation a long time ago, Kyle, that I look like the night elf from World of Warcraft. And then she showed me it, and I said, "Okay, well, that's fair." And ever since, yeah. So there's that. You just sent me the finished one. Oh, okay. Hold on, I gotta do the thing. Get this out. There we go. And then I can just remove this real quick. And slap it up there. This is the latest one according to Earl. I don't know. See, this one I really like. I like this one. It's got a real classic Family Addams kind of vibe to it, and I kind of like that. So, yeah, so Fangs is the Build-A-Bear. Evan the Wandering Hare, yes. Yes, but yeah. Yes, I am a vampire. I technically, I suppose, am. I work at night and I sleep in the day, and I'm actually hypersensitive to heat and light, so I prefer it that way. So, it's a cultural appropriation because I've never seen him play funk. Okay, there we go. Funka Pop. Okay, there we go. But yes, I always love this one because it has nice Addams Family vibes too. So, but yes, this is one of my favorites. So, you're allergic to sunlight. Oh, there you go. See. Fangs has chosen two great people to reveal themselves through. Occasionally speech of him and causing my hell weirdness. There you go. You have similar hallucinations every week. At least bees will have somewhere to live. There you go. There you go. All right, folks, I am out of time, unfortunately. I have to get ready for work, but I work at the world's largest brick and mortar at night. I have an evil job. Whenever you know where something is, what shelf it's on, I change it. So I'm the guy that rechanges the shelves and stuff and reworks new product in and all that stuff. And it's called being a modder. And there's 3 of us on a team that go through our store and change stuff like that. So it's been I do that at night, and then I'm working into writing and YouTubing during the day as my secondary job. So I'm hoping to have some videos out soon. So there you go. Working, yes. Yes, it's been a Fangs tabulous freeze. Thanks everybody up. Much nom nom to my congregation. So, but yes, I work a job and I'm trying to break into this biz a little bit more, trying to do it. So, but thanks for coming, Eric. I appreciate your good contributions and good questions. I appreciate that. We have a lot of fun here too, but I do have to leave and have to get ready for work. And so I want to thank all of you. May Fangs bless all of you. And may he nibble on all of your hearts. Make sure you leave your offering of carrots out to him, and make sure, if you want to make the carrot a more holy vegetable than it already is, make sure you circumcise the tip. May he nibble on all of your hearts and nom nom and all of that. But as always, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. So make sure that you're taking all your time, money, and opportunities and spending them on yourself, the people you love and care for, to make this a better world. You'll be happier if you do. And don't waste your time on the trappings of religion and faith. That's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, folks, I appreciate all of you. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see all of you Saturday. We'll probably, once I figure out a preacher that's talking about Halloween badly, I will put that up and we can have a discussion on preaching and how preaching works in relationship to Halloween. So I'll see you all then in a couple days, 7 o'clock on Saturday. So see you then.